The third round of the FA Cup is one of football's best days. The big clubs joining the action, 64 teams still involved, and the 64th year they've set out on the road to Wembley. Now tonight we'll see Arsenal, the league champions of course, away to the club that finished 91 places below them, 4th Division Wrexham. And for all their great successes, Arsenal have been known to come a cropper in the cup to lowly opponents, and on one famous occasion they lost to a Welsh club, but that was in the final. We're at Ayresome Park for Middlesbrough against Manchester City. City last won the cup back in 1969.
Solomon back to Young. It's back. Beautiful goal. Scored by Young.
Leicester, on the receiving end then, went into their tie with Crystal Palace today, with manager Brian Little trying to improve the worst third-round record in the game. Leicester hadn't won an FA Cup tie for 7 years. This time last year, Kenny Dalglish and Liverpool had a narrow escape at Blackburn.
Oh, aggressive! Oh, it's an own goal! It's an own goal on the far post! I think it's Atkins!
Today, Kenny and Blackburn were looking for the luck that was going against non-leaguers Kettering. We'll see what happened there. Non-league Farnborough were drawn at home to West Ham, but decided to travel to Upton Park for their tie. Trevor here particularly interested in the outcome of that one. And we'll have goal highlights from other ties. I promise you tonight you'll see some of the best third-round action that we've ever had. Now, Wrexham might have gone out of the league last season. They finished last in Division 4, but luckily for them, there was no demotion to the Vauxhall Conference. A big day for them today, at home to Arsenal, the league champions, and 5-1 favourites for the Cup. At the racecourse ground, Tony Gubber.
All 92 places in the Football League may have separated these teams last season, but it's the magic of the FA Cup that today they start as equals, and that's quite an experience for Wrexham's babies. Half the team are aged 20 or under, and these YTS lads and schoolboy signings will look for experience today to their trio of veteran Welsh internationals. Number 5, Mickey Thomas, number 7, Gordon Davis, and the substitute Joey Jones have played almost 2,000 senior games between them. Arsenal's recent poor form adds to the uncertainty, but this is still largely the team that won 2 championships, with the addition of number 11, Jimmy Carter, a former Millwall and Liverpool player, whose game for Arsenal on New Year's Day was the first that he'd started since he was signed 3 months ago. Referee Kevin Breen of Liverpool starts this third-round cup tie with Arsenal in their change strip, attacking the goal to the left. Have played an FA Cup tie here at the racecourse once previously, back in 1978, a quarter-final, and they defeated Wrexham by 3-2, and the locals still talk about 1 or 2 of the refereeing decisions on that day. And on this occasion, Wrexham get the first decision from Mr. Breen, free kick. This will be taken by Mark Sartori, and apart from himself and the keeper Vince O'Keefe, everybody else in Arsenal's half. And this has gone for a push. Free kick Arsenal. David O'Leary getting to his feet. He's one of 2 players on the field who played in that match in 1978. The other one was the Wrexham number 5, Mickey Thomas. Carey won that header with Smith. Nicely laid out there by Steve Watkin. Really is a big test for these Wrexham youngsters. I came to watch a match here in the league a few weeks ago, and there was an absolute clutch of First Division managers and scouts from other teams here to look at these exciting young players Wrexham have put together. But here come Arsenal. This is Smith looking for support. Came off the defender, Thackeray, maybe a corner. Arsenal forcing the first corner in just over a minute and a half. And attacking the goal behind which their travelling support is gathered. Just over 4,000 of them have made the long journey up this morning from London. Merson will take it. Little flick on! Oh! It didn't go in. The keeper was lost. Rocastle taken away from him, And Wrexham have survived the first real scare. And I think it was the centre-forward, Alan Smith, who tried to bundle that in over the line after the little flick on at the near post. And Vince O'Keefe, the Wrexham keeper, looked to be lost. Important ball for Thackeray to win. Winterburn. Merson. He's gone inside. Thackeray, did it go behind? Oh, it missed the target. Jimmy Carter with the opportunity to make it a glorious start for Arsenal inside the first 5 minutes, and he's put it wide of the post. And it looked for a moment as though Merson had taken this just a touch too wide as he got round the defender Andy Thackeray, but he cut it back beautifully. And with the whole of the target to aim for, Carter missed. Well, 16 points adrift of the leaders in Division 1. Arsenal are conscious that the FA Cup offers perhaps their only real hope of a trophy this season. And they've given Wrexham a bit of a mauling in these first 6 or 7 minutes. Merson. It's intended for Campbell, dealt with neatly by Sartori. Now Mickey Thomas to Gordon Davis, who stepped around O'Leary's tackle. Conley still battling for it. Now Phillips is getting in there, and Carter concedes the throw. Wrexham's ball, and they've taken it. This is Mickey Thomas. Adams went in strongly on Watkin. Free kick given. A chance for Wrexham to relieve the pressure a little bit. Header out was by Dixon. Back by Phillips. This is Hardy. It's Watkin. He's kept it in play. Davis. Now Mickey Thomas. That's a really good cross in now from Mickey Thomas. And he's delivered it as well. Seaman had to come a long way and be very positive. And he's done well too to feed Merson. And how quickly Arsenal have turned defence into attack. Campbell's broken down the left, pursued by Sartori. Oh, he's worked in well. Still Campbell, good footwork. And again they've cleared it from their own 6-yard box. Arsenal's throw. But that's the 3rd time that Arsenal have got the ball into that 6-yard box in telling positions and haven't quite managed to score. And this time O'Keefe comes and gathers well. What a fine bit of footwork that was by Kevin Campbell. Only been a substitute in several games, last 4 games in fact. Hardy. Really, Watkin has got little chance of out-jumping Tony Adams. He wants the ball played on the ground to him. This is Campbell. Now, Watkin will get to this first of all. Now, they want to build carefully. And they've delivered in the air, but it's gone right through to Conley. Now there's 4 in the box. Phillips got the header. Owen! Oh, how did he miss? Gareth Owen. Nearly the highlight of his football career, and he's still only 20. Carl Conley's cross, and look at the number of red shirts. A little flick on off a defender, and an instinctive first-time shot by Gareth Owen, inches wide of the post. Well, from a neutral's point of view, you'd have to say what a pity. Inside by Mickey Thomas. Rocastle took it away from Owen. Now Merson. Oh, he's run outside Sartori. Now surely, yes! Alan Smith saves Arsenal's blushes with 1 minute to go to half-time. You'd have to say it's a goal that Arsenal have threatened and which they certainly deserve for the number of chances they've created. And maybe if you want to be hypercritical, they ought to have had more. But again, it was good football by Merson. Smith at full stretch. And Arsenal ahead by 1-0. So Alan Smith becomes Arsenal's top goal scorer this season with 14. Moving ahead of Ian Wright, who's on 13. Oh, is this an early reply? Well, Steve Watkin is Wrexham's top scorer. He's got 11. And that was a quick reply and a quick riposte and a warning to Arsenal that this cup tie isn't yet won. Alan Smith has given them the lead at half-time. But it might have been different, as Arsenal squandered so many chances in that opening 5 or 10 minutes. And but for the miss by Gareth Owen, the ball played just wide of the post, it could have been a different story. But there's still a game for Wrexham to chase, with a half-time score here at the racecourse. Wrexham 0, Arsenal 1. This is only the second time in 10 years that Wrexham have reached the third round of the FA Cup. Unless they can pull something out in this second half, this will be the end of this year's involvement in the competition. I wonder if Brian Flynn has had a word with them at half-time about the aerial power of Tony Adams. Now space here for a good cross. Oh, it hit the bar, did it? Well, that came from nothing. Nigel Winterburn, who'd come down that left side. Now, what did he intend here? He hit that really hard, and it smacked against the underside of the bar with O'Keefe beaten, and Wrexham cleared it. Now, did he intend that, Winterburn, or was it meant to be a cross? Nicely laid down by Watkin to Thomas. This is for Gordon Davis now. Have they opened them up here? Oh, if he can hit a good long ball. Conley's free on this side. To Thackeray! Fabulous save. Oh, what a break that was. What a chance. What a moment for Andy Thackeray to cover himself in glory. It looked as though the best ball on here for Gordon Davis was a long one to the far post where Carl Conley was, but he spotted Thackeray's run, who hit it perfectly, and what a world-class save from Seaman. Well, that's just underlined the warning to Arsenal. It's Rocastle. Merson first time for Campbell to chase. Well spotted by Merson. Still Campbell. Comes inside Carey, right foot. O'Keefe saved with his legs. Well, he's made a couple of good saves in this match, Vince O'Keefe. Flipped on by Watkin. This is Winterburn. And the whistle is gone for a free kick. Foul against Gordon Davis. And that has given Wrexham a free kick just on the edge of the penalty area. With 8 minutes left. Now 11 is Phillips, 5 there is the captain Mickey Thomas. It's Thomas who takes it. Oh, what a goal, Mickey Thomas! He's done it, the magic little man at the venerable age of 37 has produced a sensational goal. And that has lit the fires. Oh, could you imagine a free kick struck sweeter than that and at a more important time? Seaman had no chance. It was right up into that top corner. He hit it right through the gap. And Seaman did well to get a finger on it, but there was no stopping that. And plucky Wrexham in the 4th division have got it back to 1-1, and it's no more than they deserve, because they've taken the game to Arsenal in this second half, and Arsenal, for my money, have been too content to sit back. And now they'll have to pep up their ideas a bit. Winterburn knocks it forward for Merson. And that's easy for O'Keefe. Well, Mickey Thomas, he was in the Wrexham side that lost the quarter-final to Arsenal back in 1978, when they lost 2-3 and had 1 or 2 dubious refereeing decisions, so they'll tell you, and was also in that Manchester United side which lost in the cup final to Arsenal back in the 70s. Six minutes left. Watkin. Oh, he scored! Steve Watkin has got a goal! And Arsenal face humiliation. 2 goals from Wrexham in the space of 2 minutes. And suddenly, Arsenal's world is falling around their ears. It was Adams who missed his clearance. Watkin reacted quickest, and from just outside the 6-yard box, it's 2-1 Wrexham, and the biggest upset of the day is now on the cards. Rocastle. Well, there's a bit of urgency now, but there's not a lot of time. 4 minutes, cut out by Hardy. Well, Groves is fresh, he's full of running. This is Carter, this is Groves. Can Wrexham hold out for the scoreline that will really astonish the rest of football? Hooked in by Dixon, headed out by Thackeray. Anywhere will do for Wrexham. Here's Watkin, and he's got round Adam, play waved on. And Gordon Davis has come hurtling across. Well, in their moment of triumph, Wrexham don't want to lose their concentration and let this slip. This is Merson. Tried to bundle through 2 players, and no free kick given. And 1 or 2 harsh words being exchanged, and this will be an embarrassment for Arsenal if it stays like this. Remember, they were the champions last season. Wrexham only avoided demotion out of the Football League because nobody was demoted last season. They were 92nd. They couldn't have been further apart. The aristocrats from Highbury against the shoestring outfit from Wrexham. And this free kick for Arsenal, it's Hillier and Nigel Winterburn. Looks like Winterburn might hit this left-footed. Sort of position from which Mickey Thomas scored, of course. Didn't get the accuracy, didn't get the power. Arsenal have made a habit of going out in giant killing acts. They've lost 6 times to teams from the lower divisions. 4 times they've lost in this 3rd round. If this is the 5th, if that's the way it stays. The last time was against York, and that was in the 4th round in 1985. And if memory serves me right, they lost to a penalty. But this will put Arsenal's season in tatters if it stays like this. O'Keefe thought about coming and then decided the defender would get it. Rocastle, well struck. But there's so little time left for Arsenal to chisel away at this. Inside the last 60 seconds of the 90 minutes, plus time added on for stoppages. They'll be singing in the valleys. They'll be singing in North Wales. Sartori won the header. Thackeray still in, but went out of play. It's Arsenal's, goes offside. Well, Wrexham's home record has been pretty impressive this season. They've won 12 out of 17 at home. Drawn 2 and lost 3. And look how far David Seaman's come out of his goal to take this kick. Arsenal have pushed everybody forward. Oh, flags up on this side. If it goes in, it won't count. The flag's up on this side, and it went up a long time before the ball went in. It's no point protesting. The flag had gone up as soon as that ball was knocked in, and Tony Adams is wasting his breath. It looks as though Merson might have been the player who was offside, and the flag had gone up straight away. And we move into stoppage time. And every Welshman in this crowd of just over 13,000 is whistling for the end. Phillips just hoiks it anywhere, and Connolly was marginally offside. Again, Seaman's come racing out of his goal. We're approaching a minute of stoppage time played. They're just lifting it into the box. Sartori's clearing header. This is Winterburn. What a desperate finish for Arsenal. And if the early chances had got in, how different it might have been. Dixon just hit long. And there's the whistle. Wrexham have achieved a really famous FA Cup victory. And it's a solemn-faced George Graham who comes out of the dugout. And if Arsenal go back to London wondering what happened here, well, for me, they didn't do enough in the second half. They allowed Wrexham to get a grip on the game and come back at them. Steve Watkin with the winning goal will make the headlines, but for me, the free kick from Mickey Thomas was really the moment that set this victory up. The Welsh Dragon is evident everywhere. Oh, what a celebration, what a party there'll be in Wrexham tonight. And it's Wrexham's name which goes into the hat for the fourth round draw. A scoreline which people will blink and disbelieve at when they see for the first time. It's Wrexham from the 4th Division 2, Arsenal from the 1st 1.
Well, here they are, the men of the moment, Mickey Thomas on the left and the manager Brian Flynn, all smiles tonight, of course. Mickey, I've seen you play for a number of those, about 12 clubs you've had. I've never seen you hit a free kick like that, though.
Well, it's the first time the manager's let me take one, to be honest, Des. So, I mean, I was well pleased, obviously, with the strike.
That's
that
not
right?
true. That's not true, Des. He's taken 3 or 4 this season. They've ended up in the stand.
You seem to take the game to them, Brian, today.
We were a little bit fortunate. They created a couple of chances early on in the game, and it was a bad goal for us just before half-time. But I said to the players, keep doing what you're doing, and the unexpected might happen. And if we get one goal, you never know what might happen. And that was the case. I was proud of them today.
Mickey, you don't seem to be finding the game too hard. I suppose years of looking after yourself in the right way, is it?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, I've got a bad reputation, I think, outside football. But, I mean, no, I do look after my body, and, you know, it's proved that I'm still playing today, Des, really. I mean, I was playing against people half my age today. I mean, I don't think I did myself any injustice, really. I mean, I enjoyed the game completely.
I hear that Paul Merson had something to say to you afterwards, is that right?
Well, he said, you know, well done, like, which is nice, really. He ran up to us, really. I mean, I kicked him a couple of times in the game, and he you know, I said sorry to him, but he came up to us after the game, which was nice, and Dave Seaman gave me little boy's gloves after the game, which was nice.
Is that right? Did he get a hand to your free kick?
I don't know. I was on my way to the crowd as soon as I hit it. I was going straight to top corner.
Sure, but your little boy has a hero in him, does he?
Well, he likes him, yeah. I think he's a good keeper, and you know, he's well pleased to get his gloves, and that was nice of David to do that.
That's very
Good
nice.
professional.
And I hear you're about to make a comeback, Brian, is that it?
Well, it's not exactly a comeback, Des. I've been injured for about 7 or 8 months now. I've had a problem with my foot, circulation problems with my foot, and I'm playing in the reserves on Wednesday. I need a few reserve games before I, obviously, in any contention for the first team. So I'm looking forward to that, because I've been frustrated not being able to play.
Well, it's a tremendous performance today, and of course now you can enjoy the draw with us live tomorrow.
Certainly will. Anybody at home, we'd love anybody at home.
Earn a bit of money.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Splendid, well done.
Thank you.
Well, that's the upside of the story. Now the downside. What now for George?
How severe a blow is this, George, to Arsenal's season? You're, what, 16 points off the First Division leadership?
Well, it's a big blow. We're in 4 competitions beginning this season. It was the first week of January. We're not in any, apart from the Championship, which we're a long way behind. But I've been in the game long enough to realise games about highs and lows, and we've had a few high periods, and now we're having some low ones. There's only one way to get back, and that's go back to work.
And as you can imagine, Arsenal on the receiving end of tomorrow morning's sports headlines. It's not the first cup shock for Arsenal, as you'll see from this list. And before today, the last one was that defeat at York 7 years ago. You might recall then it was administered by a last-minute penalty by this man, Keith Houchin. So 7 shocks in all down the years for Arsenal in the Cup, but I think none bigger than today. Well, it's a tremendous win, Trevor, for Wrexham, but things going wrong for Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah, they must be terribly disappointed. I mean, great day for Wrexham, Mickey Thomas, Brian Flynn. I mean, they're old enough for me to have played against them, Dad. But I mean, you know, that's what cup football is all about. I think Brian was fair. He said, you know, the first half, Arsenal had enough chances to wrap it up, and then it all started to go wrong in the second half because Arsenal, in fact, had an opportunity, you know, to Nigel Winterburn then. And really, I think, you know, you see Paul Merson here tuck a lovely reverse pass. I'm pretty sure. Probably won't be happy, Nigel. I think this was a cross, a driven cross, goes off the outside of his foot. And if things are going for you, these end up in the back of the net. It hits the underside of the crossbar. Could have bounced down there to Alan Smith, but it didn't. It went away from him. And, you know, at that stage, 1-0, you think, oh, well, it doesn't matter. But, of course, it did. Here you get the sort of free kick. Tony Adams, in fact, goes up with Steve Watkin, who has a good back header. And at this stage, again, I must say, I thought, you see the linesman on the far side is the one that will eventually give the free kick. I think Gordon Davis is backing into David O'Leary, and David O'Leary then takes his hands away almost to say, look, don't give a free kick, I'm trying to just head the ball here. And in fact, the decision then is not that Gordon Davis was backing into him, that he did push him. So the free kick, Mickey Thomas, 4 steps, he remembers Paul Gascoigne against Arsenal last season, and there it is, screaming into the back of the net. You see David Seaman's feet here, just goes to the left. Just one stride, and that gives that little glimmer of an opening. I mean, it's a superb strike.
I think he did get a touch.
He did get a touch. Yeah. Probably why he didn't want the gloves back, I should think. And here, Gordon Davis, the winner, does well to keep that down. Tony Adams, another day, he hooks it away. He scuffs that one. And credit again to Steve Watkin. He just drags it away from Seaman. Can't get a lot of power, but picks the corner. And you just think, well, you know, can Arsenal get back into it? Here, Alan Smith's arms up. I think that's possibly why it's been disallowed. Paul Merson could have been in offside, but of course it came off the Wrexham defender, so offside doesn't apply there. And all this scrambling eventually falls to Jimmy Carter, but the linesman has his flag up. And just to sum up the day, it's disallowed. And
the flag went up very early.
It went up very early. Well. You think it's probably Alan Smith using his arms, as I say, because in fact it eventually came off Brian Carey, the Wrexham defender. But I mean, a terrible result for them, because after the European disappointment, I mean, the FA Cup was a possibility for Arsenal to get back into Europe.
Any clues on why things have gone so wrong for them this season after last year, when everything went right, virtually? Until
well, it's a while now since, you know, they've had those sort of the number of defeats that they've had, and probably they've figured in the newspapers a bit too often. Which is unusual for a club like Arsenal. So there's obviously an undercurrent there at the moment, which can only be turned around by a couple of good results, and that's not happened. And what you've got now, 4 months of the season where the league title looks beyond them, and it's a difficult time for players and the clubs that haven't experienced sort of a lack of success for a few seasons.
Well, a month ago, Middlesbrough and Manchester City met in the Rumbelows Cup, with the second division side winning 2-1. A repeat fixture in the FA Cup today. Both clubs going well in the league, both in 4th place in their respective divisions. John Motson at Ayresome Park.
He looks different without the long hair and moustache, but Paul Wilkinson, the former Everton, Forest and Watford striker, is Middlesbrough's top scorer with 14 goals this season. And his memories of his time on Merseyside will include some epic battles against Steve McMahon, who joined Manchester City from Liverpool on Christmas Eve, and today starts his second game for his new club. Well, Lenny Lawrence in his first season as manager is without the injured Mark Proctor and Willie Faulkner in midfield, so at number 8 there's a big chance for 17-year-old local boy Jamie Pollock. But the Middlesbrough strike force of number 7 Bernie Slaven, number 9 Wilkinson and number 11 Stuart Ripley means that they have 2 substitutes, John Hendry and Andy Payton, who between them cost £1.25 million. Player-manager Peter Reid passed himself fit to join McMahon in the City midfield, and the man in form up front is number 7 David White, who's scored 7 goals in the last 7 games. A run which started at Ayresome Park when City lost 2-1 here in the Rumbelows Cup a month ago. So referee Mike Reid from Birmingham starts this 3rd round FA Cup tie at Ayresome Park. Middlesbrough red shirts, white shorts, 4th in Division 2 against Manchester City in sky blue, 4th in Division 1. Middlesbrough playing from the right. That was Brightwell, and this is Ripley with the ball. Now it's Jimmy Phillips. Tony Coton, who missed the match at Chelsea on New Year's Day with food poisoning. On by Niall Quinn. Oh, and here's White with a great chance for City, and the ball ran away from him. Well, that was an opportunity in the first attack for Manchester City for David White. And Niall Quinn is obviously going to be a handful today for Middlesbrough. He got that ball through to White, and look what happened. The first touch let him down. That was Niall Quinn again. McMahon to Poynton. Number 11, Hughes. 3 in the middle for City. Here's Quinn. Niall Quinn. Well, he got that chance because Alan Kernigan slipped as the ball came over the number 4 for Middlesbrough. If you watch it again, I think you'll find he loses his place here completely. And yes, he did. And Quinn had to wait for it to come down, challenged by Phillips, and he hooked it over the bar. Well, everything that City have done in the opening few minutes has gone through big Niall Quinn. If Middlesbrough don't find a way of containing the big Irishman, they won't win the game. This is David White with Moen shadowing him. Now Poynton backs up. Andy Peake, number 10 for Middlesbrough. Long ball for Wilkinson. Header was by Redmond, but it wasn't a good one. And Middlesbrough had players backing up there. And this is Bernie Slaven with a great chance. And it's still Slaven. And still Slaven. And he didn't quite have the presence of mind at the end to try the far post chip. He went for goal, but it was a good effort. And there was some good approach play earlier by Mustoe, but it was when Slaven here turned inside that perhaps his best chance came. He delayed a bit, and in the end took the long way round and shot at the third attempt. On by Pollock, and by Wilkinson. Phillips, oh, was a bit fortunate there. McMahon in on Peake. This is White. Quinn coming in from the far side. White shot, and Quinn nearly turned it into a cross from David White. Sometimes when you shoot for goal from that position, the player coming in as Quinn was from White's original ball can just get on the end of it. And it turns a good attack here. McMahon, a good challenge to get the ball wide to White, and turned across. Quinn didn't quite make it. And that's Hughes robbing Pollock. He's got Quinn and White in the middle, and he overran it. Moen was in. Just showed too much of the ball to his opponent there, Michael Hughes. Here's White. Poynton's cross. Oh, here's Niall Quinn and Peter Reid. The player-manager has given his side the lead and shows again that if midfield players will get into the penalty area, there's always a chance that you might get a goal. Really good backing up there of the attack by Peter Reid, but Niall Quinn, with his height, again, gave Middlesbrough a problem they couldn't handle. The ball comes over Kernigan, Quinn brings it down, and Reid just waits for the defender to slip, and then pushes the ball comfortably past Steve Pears. And Quinn, once again, the player who is at the heart of the City thrust. Well, Peter Reid found the right position here. Once Quinn had got that ball down, he found a way past the defender, and what a good finish when you see it from that angle, wasn't it? Forward by Curl. Oh, and here's Ripley. And still Ripley. There was obviously a deflection on that. It's a corner. Keith Curl did well to get anywhere near him after initially being the player who was hesitating. And Middlesbrough look to have an opportunity there to equalise. They may still have from the corner. Wilkinson's up for it. And it's still loose, and a jab shot there. Oh, and in comes Ripley! And the City players are furious because the flag was up and the referee is standing still by the 6-yard box, and the celebrations were cut short almost before Ripley had time to run away with his arms up. The corner swung in long by Phillips, and then there was a real old scramble here. Offside, yes, clearly there. Number 7, Bernie Slaven, is off. No goal. White. And again, White probing there for City. He's found Heath. In support, the midfield players, McMahon, and now Poynton joining in. Quinn. That's a good turn by Niall Quinn, and Steve Pears flying across his goal. The corner's been given, so it needed the save. And here, 20 yards when Quinn hooked that one. Very good stop by Steve Pears. This is Heath, good ball by Redmond, that. Plenty of players forward, Brightwell is one of them. Well, I've got to say that the brand of football that City have played this season under Peter Reid and Sam Ellis has been of a high order. They do move the ball well. They have a target man in Niall Quinn, but it's not just the long ball up the middle. It's designed, it's controlled, and when it gets to him, he's got two options: to either bring somebody else into it or to bring the best out of the goalkeeper like that. Well, some players have a love affair with the FA Cup. Peter Reid played in 3 consecutive finals for Everton in the 80s, and today his goal enables his team to lead 1-0 at Ayresome Park at half-time, as Niall Quinn goes off remonstrating with referee Mike Reid, who rightly disallowed a Middlesbrough effort for offside against Slaven. City start the second half. Number 12 in the centre circle there, Gary Megson, who's come on as a substitute in place of Steve McMahon, who suffered a recurrence of his hamstring strain and takes no further part. So he's had rather an unlucky opening to his main road career, McMahon, and Megson is on. Reid. Oh, and here's a chance for White, and he's missed it. Well, he's had an opening at the start of each half as David White, and in his current run of scoring form, you'd have backed him to take one of them. Lovely ball chipped up with the outside of the foot by Peter Reid. Had the defender stretching, but White stretched a bit too far. This is Ripley. Wilkinson and Mustoe making their way into the centre. Phillips. Ripley is onside, if he can get it down. It's going to be a corner. And it was the challenge by Poynton which left Ripley nursing his ankle. Kernigan in the 6-yard box. Moen and Wilkinson just behind him. Kernigan, no, Wilkinson, oh! He's put it over the top from very close in. And Paul Wilkinson's expression suggests That was Middlesbrough's best opening. It was curled in by Jimmy Phillips, the corner, and City's marking went somewhat awry here. But so, I'm afraid, from Middlesbrough's point of view, did Wilkinson's shot. Parkinson. This is Curl. Heath. Megson goes through the middle, but Quinn is even better placed. And here they are, Quinn, Megson, Parkinson. Oh. Well, I imagine that Quinn and Megson, between them, should have done better there. Well, Niall Quinn combining with Gary Megson, who was coming up from midfield here. But Quinn had the first shooting chance, Megson the second. Ripley, oh, he's away now. Wilkinson, Payton and Hendry all waiting in the centre. Here comes Hendry. Well, it looked promising, that, didn't it, for Middlesbrough? They got the ball wide to Ripley, and he got down the outside, away from the defender, and as the two other forwards went further in, it was little John Hendry beyond the far defender there who had the best sight of that, but he headed it a bit loopy, wasn't it, away from the angle of the goal. This is Parkinson now. Just caught Hughes. Here comes Payton. Now here's a chance, a corner to Middlesbrough. Crowd really getting behind them now. Kernigan's there. Oh, it's an equaliser. It's Kernigan. And Borough have done it. It's the skipper. Well, corners always look to be their best chance. And with about 11 minutes to go, Jimmy Phillips curls it into the near post with his left foot, and Kernigan got there first and makes it 1-1. And Manchester City would only have themselves to blame for that, not just because of the dealing with the corner, but because they could have locked the game up earlier and didn't. Oh, and now Kernigan in defence, but it's a free kick. Well, that is a big moment for the captain. Took over from Mowbray here as the leader of this Middlesbrough side. Forward by Pollock, and can Payton do it now for Middlesbrough? Oh, Wilkinson, it's there! They've done it again! It's Paul Wilkinson, 2 in a minute. Unbelievable stuff. They've turned this cup tie round on its head, and they're delighted. Ayresome Park goes mad. You wouldn't have believed it possible a couple of minutes ago. But now Middlesbrough, the second division side, lead 2-1, and Payton, number 12, did the chasing, got the better of Keith Curl, whose header put the ball into Wilkinson's path, and with the outside of his right foot, he makes it 2-1. Well, it was 2-1 here to Middlesbrough in the Rumbelows Cup, and now it's 2-1 to Middlesbrough in the FA Cup. Is there going to be a repeat? Forward by Curl. Quinn is in there. So is Redmond. Here's White. Well, that was his best effort yet, but it wasn't close enough for City. This came from a free kick, and it produced a good old-fashioned scramble, really, when Keith Curl pumped the ball in. David White had the final shot. Payton, oh, he's away from Redmond. He's got Wilkinson backing up here. Oh, and a chance on the far side. Hit the post. It was Ripley, and he can't believe it. Here's Payton, and the man coming in beyond Wilkinson is Stuart Ripley, and it looked like 3-1, but it came back off the post. Curl. And now Sheron, just come on. Into Quinn. That was good defending by Kernigan on the chest, despite the shouts of handball. Here's Reed. Quinn, this is White. Well, that just about sums up David White's day. But he hasn't, in honesty, really tested Steve Pears. Dragged that one across. And there goes Wilkinson. He's got away from Poynton. Curl's coming across, and Wilkinson puts the ball possibly in the second best place for Middlesbrough. The referee has checked with both his linesmen that time is up. And cut glory comes to Teesside and second division Middlesbrough. They've come from behind in unlikely circumstances to defeat Manchester City of the First Division with 2 goals in 2 minutes. Kernigan and then Wilkinson, who also scored, but they beat them here in the Rumbelows Cup. So history repeats itself. Twice within a month, City have come here and lost a cup match by 2 goals to 1.
Well, in Grandstand at lunchtime, you were saying this is always the best football day of the year as far as you're concerned on the calendar. And blow me, Wrexham have put Arsenal out and you've beaten Manchester City.
Yeah, it's an amazing result, the Arsenal result. And I think it was a great cup tie today, even if you're a neutral. I mean, we've come from a goal behind, lots of excitement, quite a few goalmouth spills, and the crowd made a tremendous noise, you know, in the last 10 or 15 minutes. I think it's a great day for football and it's a great day for our club.
Well, after 9 years of performing little miracles at Charlton, here you are now going for promotion, the quarter-finals of the Rumbelows on Wednesday, and pulling off one of the shocks of the weekend. You've brought a bit of excitement to Teesside, haven't you?
I have indeed. Hopefully we can continue. We've had a great first half of the season. I said to the players on Boxing Day, they could have a season to remember all their lives if they apply themselves properly, or we could miss out on all fronts. And it depends on them and everybody really whether we could do one or the other, but it's quite possible to do the first.
Well, having beaten City twice, Middlesbrough may have proved a point about their First Division potential, Trev, do you think?
That's right. I think City will be disappointed. I mean, David White in particular had 4 chances. I think another day he could have tucked away. But they came back very well second half. And as you say, they had a couple of indifferent results just over the holiday period, and that should do them a lot of good for their promotion hopes.
Paul Wilkinson had a mixed day. He's changed a bit in appearance since his Watford days when he had a bit more hair and a bit of a tash. He's taken most of that off now, but he missed one and got one.
Well, he had a funny afternoon, didn't he? I mean, he probably might have been growing his moustache in here after this miss. It goes right across the goal. It's almost set up for him there, and what, 3 or 4 yards somehow. I mean, he's almost turning away to wave to the crowd, and still probably fretting about that. And then suddenly an up and under, and Andy Payton chases with Keith Curl, a bit unlucky, nods it right into his path. And as a striker, not much time to think about it, just hit it, and it flies in, and suddenly that haircut doesn't look so bad.
Well, we have a third main match, Leicester City against Crystal Palace, coming up shortly. But before that, let's take a look at how the non-leaguers did today. 4 of them had survived into this round, and we'll begin with Farnborough, who'd been drawn at home to West Ham, but decided to play the tie at Upton Park. Ray Stubbs with this report.
There was no doubt that even before today's self-inflicted away day, Farnborough had travelled a long way in their short 25-year history. They used to meet for matches outside a phone box. Now they're one of the top non-league clubs. The football manager arriving at Euston's Platform 8 yesterday has been with the club for 22 years. Ted Pearce works for British Rail. From humble beginnings, he's certainly got Farnborough on the right track.
It was very, very spartan. I mean, we had next to nothing. One set of kit, a couple of balls. We played on the local recreation ground. It was incredibly different to what it is now. And certainly we couldn't have envisaged a day in the third round of the FA Cup, that's for certain. Farnborough Town's my club, it's my town, and that's where my feeling is.
The Farnborough left-back, Keith Baker, a British Airways steward, warmed up for West Ham in Nice.
I think this season we seem to have toughened up a hell of a lot, which our goals against record proves and our away record proves. and hopefully our footballing ability will come into its own. And, you know, we will cause one or two surprises, I think.
Despite Baker's contacts, Farnborough settled for a coach to take them to Upton Park. And followed by a convoy of fans, they left with a clear objective of what they expected.
To get a result. But I obviously realised that that's a long shot. But long shots happen in the FA Cup. If we come out of it with our reputation intact and the reputation of non-league football intact, I'll be pleased.
While the West Ham fans blew bubbles, the Farnborough faithful blew up balloons to welcome their side. With only one win in their last 9 league games, West Ham, last year's semi-finalist, were hoping to put things right today. But it was Farnborough who should have scored first. The British Irway Stuart Baker flighted a ball forward, but from Reed's cross, Coney's header drifted wide. Of course, most of the pressure was always going to be on the Farnborough goal, but the non-league team defended with great determination. Jim Wigmore cleared this effort from Mike Small off the line, and it was goalless at half-time. The pressure finally told early in the second half, though. Julian Dix shot West Ham ahead, and many thought the floodgates would open from that point on. But Farnborough hung on in there from another neat build-up. Coney was able to get in a shot, and it was Julian Dix who handled on the line. After a pause, the referee awarded the penalty. A chance for Dean Coney to hammer Farnborough level 8 minutes from time. That's the way it stayed, and while the anger of the West Ham fans threatened to boil over, everyone involved with the Hampshire club were able to celebrate a famous day, especially Farnborough's long-serving manager, Ted Pearce, who raced to applaud the Farnborough fans at the final whistle.
They were so joyous, so full of fun, and I mean, they've enjoyed their day. I just want them now to realise that they've got a team well worth supporting, and I hope that they will come regularly now to Cherrywood Road, because we don't get this sort of following at home.
Is it the best day in the 22 years you've been here?
Well, I can't remember one better. Right now, it certainly is, and it's fantastic, and I'm going to savour it.
And how about the replay?
Replay. We're better away from home, you know. We're better. I mean, you have a look at our away record. I think we've lost 2 away games in the last 12 months. So, week on Tuesday, you never know. We might get a better result.
Good job they didn't play at home, Trev.
That's right. I mean, we could say we went for the second leg, I think, with the home receipts. But I mean, it's a great performance when you think of the following. As you know, he said in the interview just before, it's a long shot at getting a result. But suddenly, I mean, in just those clips we saw, I mean, the chance in the first half. But I think from West Ham's point of view, when you're near the bottom of the first division, you get that sort of draw, and you think, well, perhaps we get a few goals, bit of confidence going, and suddenly it works in the reverse. You know, you have a nightmare result, and a bit unlucky Farnborough because of Wrexham's victory over Arsenal probably overshadows what a fantastic achievement theirs was to draw at West Ham today. And you know, it's just from West Ham's point of view now, they've got to try and look at the replay, get that sort of result they were looking for today. But it's a difficult time. Well, priority is to stay up, but I mean, you can't afford to go out to sort of a non-league side. You've got to try and get a run of some sorts going. That today was the one where you're looking to build up a bit of confidence, because at the moment the players aren't as bad as the results are suggesting. It's just they're drained of confidence, and results like that aren't going to help.
OK, well, one of the better non-league outfits are Kettering Town, who reached the 4th round in recent years. They were away to Kenny Dalglish's high-riding 2nd Division Blackburn. David Davis reporting here.
Kettering's players knew they faced an uphill task at Blackburn today, and the early omens were questionable. Not the twin towers of Wembley, but the fake spires of a fantasy land out of the hotel window. And with their club currently in dispute with the Inland Revenue, Peter Morris could have been excused a touch of envy of his opposite number, Kenny Dalglish.
He's got his own problems with all the money he's got. Kenny's got to spend it wisely. I mean, obviously he's done that so far. We've no money at all, so I don't get problems that way.
Ironically, Kenny Dalglish was the visiting manager at Ewood Park exactly 1 year ago today. Then only a late and tragic own goal saved Liverpool and effectively ended Blackburn's FA Cup run almost before it began. 12 months later, the transformation is complete. Blackburn's new manager of 84 days arrived this afternoon seeking to launch a new FA Cup assault. But already he's conjured some magic. On the streets, there's an excitement that the club's greatest days aren't necessarily all behind them. And it's not just the youngsters who believe it. Inside the souvenir shop, meanwhile, business has never boomed like this.
Yeah, 450.
Of course, it's always been a proud club. In the boardroom, they don't want to forget a cup record. Blackburn were the last club to win 3 finals in succession, admittedly more than a century ago. But these days, there are fewer reminders around of a glorious history. And the man who brought Kenny Dalglish to Blackburn with that promise of money to spend is confident new glories are imminent.
Does someone like you dream about going with Blackburn Rovers to Wembley?
Well, I wouldn't dream. I hope I am going to Blackburn Rovers with Wembley, but I think the odds are 40 to 1 this morning.
What do you think of that?
Well, it's not enough, but I think we've had a flutter.
And after half an hour today, the second division leaders at last began to justify those who have faith in them. Fullback Alan Wright, an early Dalglish signing, set up the first. David Speedy had already hit the woodwork as well. Come the second half, another right cross and another Blackburn goal, this time from Mike Newell. And 2 more followed inside 12 minutes. Gordon Cowans remains a quality player. Anything he can do, Mike Newell can do too. Eventually, Kettering did find some consolation. Phil Brown, the scorer, 4-1. But their cup dream is dead. Blackburn's lives on. The manager is keeping his thoughts to himself. Still, what about Blackburn v Liverpool next round?
We always fancy ourselves here. There's not many teams that are going to come here and turn us over.
But going back to Anfield, if it happened?
Yeah, it'd be nice. But let's see what happens on Monday. They've got to get through yet.
Well, the smallest team left in the competition were Crawley Town of the Beezer Homes League, involved in a local derby against Brighton, having a bit of a struggle in Division 2 at the moment. Here are the goals from that tie. Brighton in the stripes, all over.
Second Division versus the Beezer Homes League. Brighton in their deck chair stripes, dazzling Crawley Town. 1-0 through Mark Gall, 24 minutes gone. Then it was Clive Walker, who'll be 35 soon after Cup final day, making it 2-0. Ian Chapman next, a sprightly 21-year-old with a ferocious left foot, scoring the first FA Cup goal of his career. The second wasn't long delayed, it came from the penalty spot just on the hour. Crawley's consolation was a share of a £110,000 gate receipt. It helped to soften the blow when Raphael Mead made it 5-0 just before the end.
Thank heavens for that. And the other non-leaguers, Woking, last season's heroes, had another good day, drawing with 4th Division Hereford to stay in tomorrow's draw. Well, now our third main match, 2nd Division against 1st, Leicester City, who haven't been past the 3rd round in 6 seasons against Crystal Palace, the finalists of 2 years ago. At Filbert Street today, Barry Davis.
Supporters with the 7-year itch. That's how long it's been since Leicester City won an FA Cup tie. And they look to the new manager, Brian Little, to end the depression. Among his lineup, Ali Moughlan will be hoping for a change most. He's played in all 6 defeats. Carl Muggleton stays in goal. Kevin Poole still feeling the effects of an ankle injury. And the promising Paul Kitson, who's been a flu victim, only makes it back as far as the bench. Crystal Palace are happy to see Andy Thorne make an earlier than expected return, though like England's Jeff Thomas, the hurt ankle is well protected. Mark Bright returns to an old stamping ground. It's a lovely afternoon for football. Crisp, no wind, and the pitch has that nice bit of give in it. First speed of the ball for Carl Muggleton. On by right. Be under some pressure. Sinnott wasn't. Moughlan started it. Wright tries to continue it. Taking on Humphrey. Goal kick. Thought it got a deflection. But the linesman and referee thought otherwise. Nigel Martin. Wright comes for it, gets a good flick on. And this is Gabbiadini. Still Gabbiadini! Brilliant clearance off the line by Gary Mills. Central defenders got themselves slightly lost. Bit of push and shove. He curled it away, it was going in, and here comes Mills. Davidini bought from Sunderland to replace the departed Ian Wright. A rather different player, though. Appeal for offside, it's not given, and this is Tommy Wright. And that is an opportunity wasted. Martin stood his ground well. Paris was certainly caught out. Got the angle right, the goalkeeper. Easy to say from here, but a little chip might have been better. Free kick. That's Mortimer. David Oldfield came from Manchester City 2 years ago this month. Wayne Clark went the other way. An elbow by Young, which caught Gordon. Not sure why 3 Palace players are coming to talk. Well, now only 2. And it's red. John Deakin seeing that as a quite deliberate use of the arm that caught Gordon in the face and which has reduced Crystal Palace to 10 men. Mills, away by the hugely determined Thorne. Appeal for offside, and it is. Well, this is the incident which brought the sending off. And the referee adjudged that that arm movement was quite deliberate. That's well taken. Free kick against Thorne. Mills, Reed, Colin Gordon, and it's been played through. That's a very, very good save. Richard Smith it was who got forward. And the final header of no test at all to Martin. But he really came off his line to the man coming through to make the block. A bit of space down the right side. Mills, still Mills. Got a ricochet and fell kindly as far as Palace were concerned. Walsh. Colin Gordon. Termination from Tommy Wright. 4 waiting. Best pressure for a while. Oh! Flag was up anyway. But how carefully was this bounce watched? You see it was going? Mills. Brought far too far back. Thompson. Playing across the line, playing into Palace's hands. Somebody's got to make a breakthrough. And frankly, they don't look like doing it. Home crowd willing their side to snatch it at the finish. Wright, who had chances earlier. Play being condensed by the Palace defence. Free kick against Gray. There may be one last hope. Mills to take. 5 on the far side. It's chipped up, and they've got a man in! And they've got the goal right at the finish, and it's Smith. No reaction at all on the face of Brian Little. You'd have thought that he'd just lost, rather than just won. An anonymous name becomes famous here. Smith is the man who gets the goal. Richard Smith, a 21-year-old, free kick taken by Gary Mills. Goal coming in the time the referee allowed for stoppages after Palace have played for 61 minutes with only 10 men. Thomas, it's still loose, but the whistle has gone. And there was a danger of a fight, which was quickly nullified by some sensible action. Come away. Referee has a check of the watch. The defensive strategy worked for so long, but finally Richard Smith came up with what the crowd at Filbert Street had been waiting for so long. Leicester City have a victory in the FA Cup and go through to round 4. And the biggest smile is on the face of a 21-year-old called Richard Smith.
Well, now 2 more First Division sides that went mighty close to going out today. Gerald Sinstad reports.
Oldham in blue seem to be dealing with this free kick safely enough. And even when the ball is played into the corner, it still looks a bit of a lost cause for Leyton Orient. But not to Wayne Burnett, nor to Keith Day, arriving at the near post. It took the First Division side well into the second half to save their skins. Rick Holden's deep cross and a stooping header from Graham Sharp. 1 apiece, East London rubbing their hands at the prospect of the replay. Nobody takes Cambridge United lightly. Here they are in the yellow shirts, constructing a typical goal. 1 nod on to Dion Dublin, power in the shot and in the follow. Coventry 1 down at home. They were rescued by this Andy Fensom challenge on David Smith. Penalty. Up steps Brian Borrows to earn the 1987 Cup winners a replay.
Super stuff, and a great match to look forward to tomorrow, Trev.
Well, I mean, they're the best 2 sides in the country to date so far this season. They've got so much sort of attacking flair, haven't they? I mean, Manchester United with the 2 wingers, Kanchelskis and Giggs, who were badly missed in their defeat against Rangers. But that Rangers result does give that extra little bit of ingredient, doesn't it? And sort of Gary McAllister, who I saw on New Year's Day, played superbly in midfield. So there's so much talent, you expect 1 or 2 of them to shine on the day.
Lots to look forward to. There we are, a splendid day's football, and tomorrow we're at Ellen Road for our live match between the current top 2 teams in the country, Leeds and Manchester United. Join us 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll have the 4th round draw live, and the cup favourites at the start of today, Arsenal, will not be in it. From Trevor and from me, good night to you.
It's Thomas who takes it. Oh, what a goal, Mickey Thomas! He's done it, the magic little man. Six minutes left. Watkin. Oh, he scored! Steve Watkin has got a goal! And Arsenal face humiliation.